Well, we got our first fig. Nice big fat fig, fully ripe. You can tell when they're starting to droop that they're ready. Everything has been pretty hot and it's kind of crazy out here. This was a row garden. I don't know where the row is anymore, but it's looking pretty good. And there's actually a lot of food out here. Even though the summer gets really hot, it's been in the mid 90s and it's gonna hit 100 tomorrow. I do like how wild and crazy everything gets. It's just out of control, and I like that feeling of having to go through the garden with a machete. When I wrote my book, Minimalist Gardening, it was almost called machete gardening because I feel like you can do everything with a machete, and most of the time, my gardens require a machete to get through by the time you get to July and August. So let's go on a hunt here. My wife wants some eggplant for dinner. There's a little eggplant there. There's a little eggplant there, but I know that there are more. There's a point where it's so hot outside and crazy that I pretty much give up on the weeds. The grasses start to fill in if we don't get stuff earlier in the year. Oh, somebody got to this eggplant already. Still some eggplant in there though. And it just gets a little bit hard to deal with the wildness of the garden. So we kind of just go through and hunt for food. This one's got a little hole in it too. The earwigs like to get into these holes and hang out. I don't know if they're the ones that make the holes or not, but still mostly good. So we just end up kind of going treasure hunting like this. What's this? Looks like some dinner to me. This is a Cucuzza squash. This is an heirloom from Italy that originally came from an African crop. It's the same as bottle gourd, same species, but it has been bred for delicious flavor. It is a really good summer squash. It's a monster. There's a little one right there. Sugarcane here at the edge. I planted it last year and it came back. Last year it was very droughty, so we lost some of it, but still have some. I know that back here somewhere we will find pumpkins. We put in multiple compost piles of rough material back here, and they grew pumpkins everywhere. Some of them went through the fence over here, and then the cows ate them because the cows like to do that. But I know that there's more. We just have to look for them. There's one. Pumpkin hunting. These are our ube yam, which are really taking off now. They're covering this entire area. I have 3 rows of them, 1, 2, and 3, and they're very vigorous, looking pretty impressive here. We should get a lot of yams. Ube is a very popular Filipino crop. It is a purple variety of yam. We still have some flowers here in the grocery rows. It's getting a little nutty. It's kind of getting towards pulling sweet potato season, but I let them go all the way until fall because then we can get totally huge sweet potatoes. You can see over here the sugarcane those are actually big enough that I could harvest them, but we're gonna let them keep going all the way till fall, get the biggest possible. We had a storm and it blew over some of our Jerusalem artichokes here. I don't think it's gonna be really a problem, but that's not as pretty as they looked before. This was one dense hedge of them, and I ended up chopping some of them away so I could get through here. And these are just plowed over sideways, but I think they're still gonna make a lot of Jerusalem artichokes. It's kind of hard to stop them. Very pretty things. Well, what do we have here? That looks like a fig that is, ooh, it's so close. The bug's chewing on it a little bit, but I think that'll be ready tomorrow. We'll just hope the bugs don't get it completely. You don't want to pick them early. They taste like latex. It's not cool. This is arrowroot. That's gonna give us some really fine arrowroot this year, I think. Very happy. It's taller than I am. Very tall. It's about 6'4". Okay, here's something crazy you gotta see. These are air potatoes. This is the edible bulbifera, one of the edible bulbifera varieties. There are a lot of them in here. That's a cool one. There's one really weird one in here. There is a really super weird one. You can see how big that is? That is quite a bizarre looking air potato. This is the weird yam that grows on the vine and it's edible. You'll find wild ones in Florida, but they are not safe to eat. This variety is. This is another yam we can eat right now. This is Dioscorea polystachya, the Chinese yam. It makes a massive abundance on a second-year plant. This is a huge amount of bulbils. They also make an edible root beneath the ground, but you can just take these bulbils, you can actually eat them raw, but if you saute them in some lard, they're just like little potatoes. You can just make basically a big mess of them. Look at all these. You just pick them and they're like berry size, but you can cook them like potatoes and they come back year after year and they make you bowls and bowls of little bulbils. That's what these are called. These aerial roots are called bulbils. Bowls of bulbils. Say it 3 times fast. These are some gigantic jack beans. Look at how long those are. We got those from Randall and Michelle at Flomaton Famous. If you don't follow their YouTube channel, they do some cool stuff. And one of the cool things they do is they gave us jack beans. Very weird plant. I don't know if I should eat them or not. Ginger's really kicking right now. We'll have ginger this fall. The taro is doing well. It's really the sweet potatoes that are going to be the next big, gigantic, massive harvest, along with the yams. Right now we are in the middle of the pumpkin harvest and we have already passed 500 pounds. If you feel like everything's just getting out of control in the summer, that's because that's the way it gets, particularly when it gets really hot and you just don't feel like being outside anymore. But just, you know, when it cools off, go wander around, see if there's anything worth eating, and don't worry about it too much. Don't make any drastic decisions right now in the summer. Wait, it's going to get cooler. You're going to enjoy gardening again. When it's hot and miserable, that's not so much. Just go take the joy where you can find it. Go look at some pictures from spring, or remember how nice and cool it was and how it's going to be cool in just a couple of months. And soon we're going to be complaining that it's too cold. So just enjoy it while you got it. Look at all that crazy jungle. Check this out. This is another row. That's yams, velvet beans, and some, wow, look at that. It's mostly velvet beans right there, but there is some loofah coming through right here. And then if I look at the ground, look at this. These are more pumpkins that grew out of the compost pile that I put in this empty waste space at the edge of our garden. Didn't know what else to do with it. So piled up a mound of rough compost right here and threw some seeds in it. And it's been giving us pumpkins and pumpkins and pumpkins and pumpkins and pumpkins and pumpkins. Check this out. It just keeps going. There's more pumpkin. There's more pumpkin. There's more pumpkin. And there is more pumpkin. And there's another one around here somewhere. They're kind of growing into the garden here and making a mess. There's another one. And I know there's more. Yep, here we go. This is the herb garden, by the way. And the herb garden is completely a wreck right now. Here is another pumpkin right there on the edge, and they just are still running all the way through. So from all the way over there down to here, we're talking about 40 feet. It's making pumpkins here, and it's coming out onto this little patio area. It just keeps going and going. That's not bad. There's a little bit of stuff for dinner. I probably got some more eggplants in there I could find, but that's a nice little addition for a minute or two of looking and probably too much talking. If you want to check out our new food forest course, how to start a food forest the easy way, come and join my community. It's basically a whole university on growing food, and I think you're going to enjoy it. It's very worthwhile, it's very affordable, and makes gardening easier. I'll put a link to our community below where you can go get the food forest course. There's 5 installments so far, and it makes achieving a Garden of Eden in the backyard possible. So something to do while it's kind of hot out and you don't feel like doing anything else. Catch you next time, and until then, may your thumbs always be green. Here's my green thumb right here.